No, you're not watching an old video. You're probably wondering, didn't you do this already? Yes, I did, and I'm redoing it. So in the previous videos on the passenger side cab corner there, I did a patch job on it, and we just fixed some of the rust issues, whatnot with it. But after I got to looking at it, I couldn't stand it. It was kind of a butcher job when I did it. I had to take care of it. So I ordered another cab corner. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on. I don't know why I didn't do it to begin with. Those things are super cheap. They're only like 36 bucks a piece. I was just being cheap, but I couldn't stand it any longer. Now the inner cab corners on the passenger side here are actually in pretty good shape. It's just a little bit rotted down here on the flange. You can see here where the old cab corner was, where it folded up and tack welded. I'm gonna leave all this on there just for some extra meat, because it is a little bit thin right here. And this is definitely getting thin too, but there's enough there to weld to, and it's actually in pretty decent shape. So this side will be a little bit easier because I didn't need to get into the door jamb here, so I just cut it right along here, and I'll just graft it in right there up against that. So I'm really gonna be concentrating on this cab. Since I've got this thing off of the truck, I just need to really concentrate on every little detail of this thing and try to get this thing dialed in, because I don't want to go putting it on the frame and then doing a whole bunch of work to it, making a mess out of the frame and the engine and everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and just tackle all of the garbage that needs to be tackled on this thing. I'll comet wash it off the frame. I'll do all of that stuff now. This is all going to be the same procedure as I did on the driver's side as far as replacing it. So I'm just basically going to blow through this thing as quick as I can because I want to get it over with. Well, rats. I guess I'm done for the day. I'm out of gas. And it's Sunday, of course, too, so now I can't get gas until tomorrow. Well, I started to get some of it, but I got a good fitment up here. All down here looks good. Across here is okay. I screwed up right here, of course, but otherwise we're all right. I'll fill that in, no problem. I'll just take it easy on it. All right, guys, we got her all done. Turned out pretty good. It's a little wavy in spots, but I had to hammer and dolly this one out a little bit, and then the corner over here a little bit. We got a couple little ugly spots in there, but nothing major. But we're not gonna say anything about that now, are we? All right, that's done. I'm not messing with it anymore. And then once we do the patinaed paint job to blend that in and match it, it's gonna look good. So now I gotta come over here to the driver's side. I gotta work on this lower corner down here, just a little bit of a gap that I left over. So I'm gonna finish that up real quick, blend that in, get that done. All right, guys, I got this hole filled in. I just had a little hole here that I had to get filled in, and I left a little hole there for a drain, and then plus there's one underneath. Now I'm gonna work on this hinge pocket here. I think all I'm gonna do, I might try to just weld some of this back together, and then this in here, I'll just cut this thing out, I think, and I'll weld in another piece of sheet metal. I'll probably end up using regular bolts on this instead of the countersunk bolts. I've seen people do that with these cab overs. There's enough room here. It's sunk down enough that with the door, it clears the door. So it's probably what I'll end up doing there. I got to keep this really simple. I just need to beef it up a little bit, so when I put nuts on the bottom here, it's just good and strong. It's got some metal to bite to. Another thing I decided was all this windlace here is I was going to rip all of this windlace out of the cab. All this windlace channel here along the wheel well part is all completely rotten, and it's rotten up here just a little bit. The rest of it actually is okay, and it's not that bad. So I think what I decided to do is, you know what? I'm going to leave the windlace alone. I'm not going to touch the rest of it. I'm just going to leave it. And I'm going to get some little scrap pieces or whatever. I'm going to order some of the channel, and I'm going to replace just the bad sections of the channel. As far as the wheel well is concerned right here, I got to figure out how to bend that. I don't know how I'll do that, but it's not that much of a bend, just a little bit. And I'm just going to leave the rest of it alone. We're just going to run it. It's going to open up a can of worms because not only is the well, here, let me show you. So not only is the windlace channel rotten, but then the inner panel as well has got a lot of rust issues as well. So if I start getting into this and tearing this stuff apart, it's just going to create a huge headache with the rest of this inside panel. I'll get some of that windlace, or I'll try to find somebody that's parting out a truck. Maybe I can get just a few feet of some used stuff or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. It's not that expensive, really. I can just order some of it. And I'm just going to go that route, keep it really simple. And then as far as the dash is concerned, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to clean it up a little bit, and I'm just going to leave the bottom of it alone. Yeah, I could fix it for sure, 100%. I'm confident I can fix it. But it's just not going to look right if I do, and it's going to change the look. So it's like, you know what? That's part of the character of the truck, so I'm going to run it. All right, I got to try to get some of this windlace channel out of here. The problem with it is it's all welded on, and it is not easy to get off. So yeah, she's a little rotten. All right, got that off of there, and I'm just going to do a quick overlap patch panel on this right here just to fill this hole in. Then I just ground some of these welds down flat a little bit because I'm going to do something. I don't know what I'm going to do. This is kind of a weird curve right here. I did decide to do a wood floor in this thing as well. So, but these side panels and whatnot, I'm probably going to do something else, maybe like a carpet or something soft, more of a softer material, rubber floor mat type material. I want to cover up all those ugly patches and stuff that I did on the kick panels and whatnot, because those were just quick and dirty. If you're watching my videos for the first time, no, this is not a restoration. This is a preservation. Keep that in mind. All right, guys. I think it's, what do we say? Good enough. It ain't pretty, but it goes along with the rest of these patches, but I just wanted to fill in this hole up here and then just kind of try to rebuild a little bit of this as well, which I did. All right, I'm back. I know it's only been a second for you guys, but it's been about 2 weeks for me. All right, guys, so I took a little break from the cab over here to work on the Maverick. I was really close to having that Maverick running and driving, so I just concentrated on that for a little bit to get that thing finished up and completed. Well, completed. It's good enough. Putting together a video on that. It's either up right now or it will be after this one. I'm really not sure yet how that's going to work out. But anyway, it is back to work on this thing now. I've kind of lost a little bit of steam on this thing just because I've been having an internal battle with myself about all the little details that need to be done on this thing, and I just need to let that stuff go. Kind of one thing I've learned with the Maverick was there's a lot of little things that I wanted to do when I was building it and I didn't get to. But once I got the car up and running and driving and moving, it was much easier to tackle all those little things later. All right, guys, I've been working on this driver's side hinge pocket, and I was gonna just cut this out and replace it all, but I managed to get the thing welded back together again and just kind of got it cleaned up and blended in as best I can. And I just took a countersunk bit to try to make these round-ish anyway. But I think that's going to be just fine. All right, I'm not even going to try, I don't think, with these. There's nothing left. They're completely rusted out. I have nothing to bite on. I mean, I could hit it and round it off real quick, I guess, but nope. Yeah. No, they're gone. Okay. So those are going to have to get drilled out, which is what I expected. Let me see if these will come off. What size are those? Half? 9/16. All right. Place your bets. I'll be a son of a gun. That sucker came out. Ooh, that thing is crusty. Woohoo! Got lucky again. All right, cool. All right, just try to get a little pilot going there. Get down into the core, that bolt. All right, that looks pretty good. Go a little bigger. There we go. She popped right off. There's number 2. Whew. I would venture to say the last time this thing seen daylight was 1955 when it was installed. Unfortunately, they don't make these things either. Yeah, I just need to put pins in it. The pins are just wore out. The pin is just worn out. So as long as I can put a pin in it, it should be all right. Oop, there's one. So that's what they look like. This whole thing is just loose and busted up. Oh man, this thing's gonna take some work to fix. There it goes. All right, we got it. Got it out. All right, well, unfortunately, this one is definitely worse than I thought it was going to be, unfortunately. Yeah, so you can see how loose this is. because on this side it's all rusted out and separated. I think what I'll do is I'm just going to put a piece of sheet metal up in here and come down to here with it, and we'll just overlap this and burn it together. Then I'll do the same thing over here as I did on the driver's side. I'll just try to get this thing put back together again as best I can. All right, well, unfortunately, these are the things that get in my head that really bother me about this cab. And I just have to fight through it and push past it and just make it good enough. Because I don't have the parts. I don't have, you know, it is what it is, you know. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna have to patch it back together again as good as I can get it, and we'll just call it good. It just needs to be structural enough to hold the door, right? You know, not a big deal. All right, guys, here's where I'm at here. I cut this out, welded in a patch right here, and got this little corner here dealt with as best I could, and I just knocked down some of the high spots on some of these welds. I got this edge all cleaned off of here. Got the windlace track off. Got that up, good enough anyway. The biggest thing was I wanted to make sure that this structure right in here was good and solid again. I put in a piece of thicker metal over here just to support this, because you saw earlier how much it was flexing. Now it's rock solid. So one word of advice, if you're doing this stuff, I started this rust repair, I don't know how many months ago, a long time ago, and I should have just dealt with everything. If you're doing it, get in there, tackle it, and just be done with it. Because now I'm looking at everything going, man, there's a lot more work here than I remember leaving behind. Yeah, I left a bunch of it behind. So word of advice, just tackle it. While you're in there, get it over with and be done with it. All right, guys, I got a patch welded in up there. Good enough anyway. Then I've just got it all tacked up into place here and got some of this filled in. The rest of this, I think I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna walk away from it because this is just gonna turn into a can of worms. All right, so I'm just trying to strip this cab down, get everything out of here, get it all out of my way. All right, that's out. All right, so as you can see, I got the steering column and everything out of here. Just trying to pull all the garbage out. I cut the glove box off. I took the cab lights on the roof off, dome lights out. And basically, I'm just gonna prep this firewall to spray it with the bedliner, what I have left over. So I'm just gonna start cleaning this stuff up and prepping it. See if I can get this thing off. Nice. Nice. Who knows the last time this stuff was apart? Let's see, I don't want to pull that wire out because I've got to fish a new one in here because these things are completely rotten anyway. Yeah, this is just a fire hazard waiting to happen. I'll probably just get new ones. You can get them aftermarket. Or I'll just put a new socket in them, actually, is what I'll do. Just rewire it. All right, she came out. Woohoo! All right, so I got a big nest up here that I need to fish out, get out of there. I'm sure it's impacted all the way down the A-pillar, of course, too. This ought to be fun. Not so much. See if we can get this cowl out of here. There we go. This thing's still in really good condition, actually. Really surprised. All right, I tried cutting some of the seal with just a knife. It's not gonna be fun. This stuff is hard. It is hard as a rock. I'm probably gonna reuse this windshield, more than likely, for now. I'm sure they're not that expensive, but whatever. I actually kind of like it when they delaminate a little bit and it gives it a little character. All right, yeah, this is gonna be fun. All right, well, let's, now I gotta push it out, so let's see how bad that's gonna be. I probably should have left the seal on over there, and now I'm worried it's gonna just fly out of here, but it is what it is. Oh gosh. I got a little bit of glass here. It looks like I hit it with the blade, but okay, it's whew, okay. If I had somebody here to play catch, that would be a heck of a lot easier. I think we'll just go for it. That's it. Okay, it's out. Okay, let me get in front of the truck now. Hopefully it stays. Oh, come on. All right, we got it. Now I don't know where I'm gonna put it. This is all in really good shape. Tiny bit of rust right there, but down here looks really good. Yeah, it is not that bad. That's great to see. I was a little worried about that. All right, let's get the rear one out. Maybe it'll be easier, maybe not. If I can get the lock out. I like to use a Phillips, that usually works pretty good. I can hear glass crunching. I'm trying not to be aggressive with it, but... Oh, what is that? Ah! Somebody replaced this glass. All the corners and everything are like squared off. Yeah, somebody just cut it. Yeah, you can see the corners and stuff are just kind of crudely hacked. You can see it across the top. It's just really wavy. So somebody replaced this. They must have. It's got a safe light insignia on it, so who knows. All right, I got a piece of plastic here, wrapper or something, I don't know, whatever. See if I can't. Ooh, doggy. I don't like that at all. It's coming out. It's moving. But I'm trying to be really careful here. Okay, there it goes. These edges are like stupid sharp too. I can see them. All right. Yeah, this thing is chewed to pieces. It's definitely not original. All right, this thing will go in the trash. All right, well, I got the ignition switch out. That was fun. I had to cut a little slit in the outer ring here just to loosen it up, but the dash actually is in good shape. I thought it was all chewed to pieces, but it's actually not. It looks like it'll accept a original ignition switch. So that's cool. I'll be able to utilize that. And then the headlight switch did come out. I had to kind of broke up in pieces, but looks like it's an original unit. But yeah, it's not worth keeping this stuff. I'll just replace it all. So if you're looking for used COE parts, hit me up. I know what I got. Everything's pretty much out of the inside that I'm gonna take out anyway. Everything's all stripped out of it, so we're in good shape. And if I seem like I'm a little off right now, I am a little bit with this thing. I'm just kind of feeling, I don't know. I'm feeling a little foggy with this thing at the moment, but it's okay. I'm just moving forward with it. I'm trying to fight through it. I would appreciate some encouraging words to keep me moving on this thing. I'm just struggling right now a little bit with it. It's starting to get hot again, and I'm just thinking about the summertime. It's been 90 degrees all this week already. So we pretty much went from winter into early summer now. So I'm just not looking forward to the heat, but it is what it is. And so that means I just got to move even faster. Well, sometimes you gotta get dirty to get this stuff done. This is the not so glamorous side of doing this. Oh, yeah, it's horrible. All right, everybody wants to be a hero car builder until it's time to get dirty. All right, I got everything pretty well cleaned up. I just took the grinder to everything, all the welds and everything, just to knock the high spots down. Just went over the floor real quick. It doesn't really matter because it's gonna get a fairly thick layer of that peel and stick insulation, and then some kind of like little rubber membrane or something underneath the flooring as well. I'm basically ready to seam seal this thing, so I'm just going to grab the seam sealer and I'm just going to hit all the corners as much as I can. Probably what I'll do is I'm just going to spray the whole firewall, and then I'll probably spray the side panels and then these little arches right here. I bought some of that, I don't know, I guess it's a rip-off of that POR 15 that the Ace Hardware has. Boy, I'm a mess. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get inside these cab corners, down in the pockets from inside the cab. I'm going to get down in there with that stuff with a brush, and I'm just going to coat the whole inside of those cab corners and everything. All right, I just shot some primer on the inside, so now I'm going to go ahead and seam seal in here, get all this stuff sealed up as good as I can anyway. Since it got so hot so fast, it's just been, my allergies are going nuts. I normally don't suffer from allergies. I should have ground that off, but oh well. Get this stuff worked in the corners. Oh yeah. Well, guys, she ain't gonna win no Riddler award, but at least it'll be a useful truck again. That's all I care about. I wonder how long it's gonna take for somebody to make all these panels repop. You know, this like I had to remake, and maybe these fender wells, stuff like that. I guess there's just not enough demand yet. Hopefully I got enough to do this. I've got 2 more tubes, but that's it. I'm out. All right, we'll let that seam sealer dry overnight, and tomorrow I'll get the rest of this thing sprayed. Be done. All right, good morning, guys. All right, we got her off the hoist again, got her on the ground. And I think what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna go ahead and comet wash this thing. I debated which order I wanted to do this, if I want to do the bed liner first and then wash it later, or vice versa. I'm just gonna comet wash it first. That way the water will dry quicker than the bed liner anyway. So I went ahead and shot some primer in here this morning just to cover the rest of the floor area. Got most of the bare metal and everything covered. So I just got some Comet, regular Comet, and then I've got some Zero here, single zero steel wool. I'm just gonna hit it with that and see how that works out. I've done a little bit of this Comet washing stuff in the past. It works pretty good. I actually did my Maverick, believe it or not. I went over that thing with the Comet wash and it worked really well. It took off all the years and decades of just, you know, grit and grime and dirt and all kinds of garbage. It takes a little bit of paint off, but not too bad if you're careful. I didn't use steel wool on the Maverick. I just used a sponge. Just did it really, really lightly. But for this thing here, we'll see how it turns out. You know, I can't make it any worse. So we'll see how it goes. I forgot I wanted to take the stacks off. So I did that real quick. I think I got everything out of the way that I don't want wet. I need something to stand on. I'm honestly not expecting anything out of the roof, really. I don't think it's gonna look any different or anything, but because it is pretty darn rusty. So I'm not real worried about that. It's definitely taken all that black staining and old moss growth off. Okay, another rinse. Okie doke, guys. I think I got her. It looks better. It looks way better in person. I don't know if it'll show up on camera. And then when I put a coating on it, just a little bit of a matte or something like that, or a semi-gloss, it'll definitely bring that color out. I got to do the glove box yet, of course, but I'll do that later. Probably hard to tell on camera, but in person, it's definitely noticeable. It even cleaned up the A-pillar here and the VIN tag and stuff cleaned up a little bit. Almost got too aggressive, started to take some of the blue off. All right, let's take a look at this thing. It's been a couple hours. I had a fan inside of it too, blowing all the water out of there. And now that it's bone dry, I like it. Looks pretty good. It's pretty cool. Dash actually looks pretty good. A lot of the color came back out of it. I'm thinking I'm gonna drop the front of this cab down on the ground. So I'm gonna try to lift it, kick the jack stands out, and set it on this piece of plywood. What could possibly go wrong here? Yeah, okay. I mean, I can lift it. Yeah. All right. That wasn't bad. Whew. It's heavy, heavier than I thought. All right, I'm gonna try to lift this thing and just see if I can even do it. All right, well, that worked. All right, yeah, cool. The work on that firewall is heavy enough. I am not worried about denting it or damaging it for sure. All right, I'll just let the rest of the water kind of run out of this thing. But now I can get in here and get all these areas that I missed. These back sides of all these bars and whatever else I need to get. Welcome back to the worst tape job you've ever seen. Yeah, it works. It's good enough. I just got everything covered up as best I can for overspray mainly. I'm just gonna paint the firewall and everything just like it is. I'll just reach in there and hit it. It should be pretty easy to do. So that's all set. I'm not really worried about the floor again. I'm not gonna do that, but you know, it's gonna have a little bit of overspray on it because I'm gonna do this edge right here. But it should be all right. I just wanted to protect the outside, of course. Definitely wearing gloves this time. Last time I didn't wear gloves and that stuff took forever to get off my hands. I forget that trick how to put them on. I saw something on a reel or something online where you put your thumb in and you twist it or something. I don't know. 8 ounces. Okay. Just gonna go down slow with it. All right. Perfect. All right, well, I wasn't planning on doing the whole floor, but since I had to mix up the last 2 cans, I just got a light coat on the back part of the floor, but it's good to go. It's probably hard to tell, the light's bad, but I just had to put a really light coat in this middle part. So, but it's all coated. Seems like it's okay. It was coming out a little blotchy. I don't have a regulator on this thing, so it's got full tilt, so I think it's just too much for it. Still get my face dirty even though I had a mask on. Yeah, I think it was just too much pressure, but I'm not worried about it. It's gonna all be covered anyway, so I don't really care, honestly. I got these areas in here really good. Looks like I got everything coated okay. So that looks fine. And of course, when I lifted it, a whole bunch of dirt fell out and landed on it, and it is what it is. But yeah, my main concern was just the firewall up there, but it looks good. But I was able to get up in there pretty good too. So. But it looks good with the Comet wash. Brought some of that color back. All right, so I got some primer on the cab corners as well, just to keep them from rusting. I've been actually experimenting with some different paints and whatnot that I found at the hardware store and trying to come up with a matched look anyway. I can't quite get the color just right. It's still off quite a bit. But I might have to have that color mixed up, but we'll see. Somebody said it was a woodland green, and then there's another one too, I forget the name of it, that it may be as well. So I may have to take a sample down or something and they can scan it. I don't know, we'll see. Whatever. I'll just find something that's close enough and see what I can come up with, some kind of, you know, match job, blend job there. I probably should have scrubbed the back of this cab even a little bit harder. I think I can. There's some of this stuff in here that's still here that can come off. I'll probably end up covering that firewall too with something. It's gonna have some kind of insulation on it as well, but it'll probably be more of that foil back stuff, you know, like Dynamat, anyway, something like that. Yeah, I don't know, we'll figure that out later. All right, guys, that is a huge hurdle mentally, big time. Just getting that thing done. I think I've got everything pretty well taken care of. I'm sure there's stuff that I'm missing. I'm sure there's stuff I'm gonna have to drill more holes. I may have to do some more welding, who knows, I don't know. But I think I've got everything pretty darn good. At this point now, next week, I'll probably get on that chassis and start putting this thing together. I can go ahead and put the cab mount and everything back on it. I gotta get the headers on it, the spark plugs in it, everything that needs to be done to the engine. I wanna get that taken care of. Power steering, all that stuff. We'll get all that stuff buttoned up. And then when we're ready to put the cab on it, all that stuff will be done. I won't be fighting the cab and everything working on it. That should work out pretty good, hopefully. And then I can get the fuel tank mounted and get the fuel lines, all that stuff connected as well. All right, I'm trying to get in a regular groove here with that thing, you know, on a weekly basis. The Maverick kind of screwed me up for a little bit. But now that that thing is done, it's gonna be out of my way and I can concentrate on this again. So we'll get back to regularly scheduled videos on this thing, hopefully. All right, well for now, we're done. I'm done. I'm gonna let this thing sit here for the rest of the week and cure out. All right, if you don't mind, please subscribe. It does help me out. If you wanna help me with this project, that is one thing you can do, is just subscribe for me. It does help me out. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Have a great day.